Hello guys and welcome back to Premier League predictions. We are back predicting the top flight of English football. And Sophie, it is now May. It's May the 1st. It's the final month of the season. There's going to be some twists and turns. Set us a big like target.
4,000 likes. We're going big.
We are going big. Let's really hammer home with that support, guys. Thank you so much to everyone for your support this season. Make sure you have dropped a like, and it's never too late to make sure you have hit the subscribe button. We're getting closer and closer to that magic 100k. Let's do it this month. Do it before my birthday. It'd be a great present. Sophie, let's talk about the Premier League results from last time. Between myself and you, it was a 7-7 draw. So we actually drew.
Okay.
I think we've got to talk about Liverpool 5, Tottenham 1.
Yeah.
Not a bad prediction from myself.
No, it's probably the best prediction from this channel. That was a great shout.
It was decent, and thank you to Liverpool for delivering upon it, and thank you Spurs for playing your part in an awful performance. So let's get into the Premier League predictions for this time. We've got 11 games to predict. We've got a game in hand and then the 10 games for the weekend, and we start tonight, Sophie, at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest versus Brentford. Sophie, first of all, Nottingham Forest out of the FA Cup now.
Yeah.
2-0 defeat to Man City. Started sluggish. Had their moments.
Went behind very early on, didn't they?
I know, it's unforgivable against Man City. It's the harsh reality of football at the top level, isn't it? But they had their moments. They didn't take them. It's disappointing, of course. I'd have loved to see Nottingham Forest get to the FA Cup final, but let's talk about the Premier League, Sophie. They've still got that real massive chance of making Champions League football. Yeah. They've got a couple of difficult games to come. They played Chelsea on the final day, which should be really interesting, and we are predicting them twice in this video. First they're at home to Brentford, next they're away to Palace.
Right.
This one's more winnable for me. I don't think it's a given. Brentford, I don't believe, played over the weekend because of the FA Cup action and what have you. Forest have got to do it, Sophie. 1-0. I think they're just going to do it. If they don't, then I don't know. I mean, it's getting squeaky bum time for that Champions League space.
Yeah, it's really difficult because Brentford have got some really good attacking players, so they're not to be underestimated. And I don't think Forest will, to be honest, but I think it could end a draw. 1-1 for me.
1-1. Yeah. Do you think Forest have just lost some momentum at the minute?
They have. I know they've had like a couple injuries, and that will obviously change things, but they have dropped off a little bit. I still do think they'll make Champions League football, but they just need to get playing like they were before.
It's getting really interesting, I must say now. I mean, the relegation's wrapped up, the title's wrapped up, but that race for the final few Champions League places is so interesting, which takes us on nicely to the next game, Sophie, as Man City take on Wolves. And Man City, Sophie, need to keep winning if they're going to secure a Champions League place. They are in the FA Cup final as well, so fair play to them. They could rescue this season. It's not been a typically good Manchester City season where they romp home with the title in early March.
But they're still finishing strong in a way, aren't they? They like to finish strong. Absolutely.
They always end the season strong, and you could see them finishing, I don't know, top 5, top 4, top 3, and winning the FA Cup, to be fair. Yeah. I don't think this will be easy though, Sophie. Wolves have been really good lately, and they were spot on with your prediction last time, 3-0 against Leicester, so props to you. Not quite a 5-1, but it's still quite good.
Close enough.
I think this will be close, you know. I just think Man City are going to edge it, though.
I agree.
Man City 2, Wolves 1.
Yeah, I feel harsh going against Wolves because recently they've just been very consistent. But they're playing Man City, who now they're hitting some good form. So don't want to go against either team, but I feel like I have to in this one. I'm going to say Man City 2-1. They just edge it for me.
Yeah, again, the same. Yeah, Man City are doing really well at the minute. And I don't know, for Wolves, I mean, they've been on a great run, haven't they? Yeah,
and I think there's teams around them, big teams as well, that are massively underperforming, and they can leapfrog them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it looks realistic that we could have Tottenham and Manchester United finishing 16th and 17th this year. Yeah. Ridiculous. Right, next up, Sophie, we go to Villa Park. Aston Villa take on Fulham. Aston Villa lost, of course, to Crystal Palace on the Saturday in the FA Cup semi-final. It was really bad from them.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to play like that. It was very strange, but I mean, Palace were very good, and they took their chances, to be fair. Some great goals as well.
Yeah, Eze's in particular. Yeah. Sarr played well, of course. We'll come on to Palace in a second, but for Villa, I don't think you know what you're going to get at the minute. A little bit Jekyll and Hyde. Obviously, one week they're beating Newcastle 4-1, the next week they're losing 3-0 to Palace. One week they've been completely outplayed away at PSG. The next week they're dominating at home against PSG. I really don't know. It depends what version of Villa turns up. Fulham can be a bit like that as well, can't they? Do you know what? I'm going to go for a draw. I was tempted to go for Villa, but maybe they'll stutter a little bit. Going to go 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going for the same again. How boring. But I do see a draw playing out, to be honest. I think Fulham on their day, a very, very good team. Very, very difficult to break down. And I feel like right now, whilst Villa are, as you say, stuttering, I don't know if they could get it over the line completely. So for me, it ends a point apiece. 1-1.
1-1. Yeah, it might not be realistic that Fulham finish Champions League now. I think they'd have to win every game and everything would have to go their way. But some kind of European football, whether it's Europa or Conference League, is possible. Share your thoughts, Fulham fans. The next game, Sophie, is at Goodison Park as Everton take on relegated Ipswich. I have done a talk about Ipswich Town's relegation on Benjamin Bloom's channel, so be sure to check that out if you haven't already. The positives are, Sophie, they've been the best of the newly promoted teams. It's not a massive disgrace that they've gone down, considering every team that seems to get promoted gets relegated in today's landscape anyway. And I expect them to come back strong so long as they hold on to McKenna. Yes,
I think he's a very, very good manager, and I know there was talk at some points in the season where they're like, oh, should we get rid of him? And I'm so glad they've stuck by him, because yes, he's got the team relegated, but I don't think anyone realistically could have came in and kept him up.
Yeah.
I think that was a very, very big job, so I think he'll do just fine in the Championship next season, and that team as well.
Yeah, I mean, we saw their second team come to Coventry and absolutely dispatch us in the FA Cup earlier this season. Let's talk about Everton though, Sophie. Everton, of course, staying up. Everton with only a couple games left at Goodison Park this season. They've got to win, surely. You know, I just like the narrative of Everton ending on a high. Even though I like Ipswich have not got anything to fight for anymore.
No.
Everton 3, Ipswich 1.
Oh, I think there could be a few goals. I think it could be a low-scoring one, weirdly. I'm going to say Everton 1-0. I'm still going to back them to win. As you say, Ipswich don't have anything to play for, but neither really do Everton. I guess it's just finish as high as possible, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be loads of goals. I think 1-0 Everton.
1-0 Everton, yeah. I suppose when the stakes aren't that high, it's difficult to keep the motivation going, I guess.
Exactly.
But as I say, Everton, they'll have all the fans there and they'll want to end on a bit of a high, so I do think they will get the win. Sophie, next up we go to the King Power for the El Crapico as Leicester City take on Southampton. This is probably going to be one of the worst games of football we've ever seen. No, look, here's how I'm seeing this. It could either be 0-0 because both attacks just can't score goals, or it could be 4-4 because both defences don't know how to keep the ball out of the net. If I'm being honest, Sophie, the team that's slightly impressed me more in the last month or two is probably Southampton.
Yeah, I agree.
They've had a bit more about them. I think they've pulled out a couple more results. Leicester, to be fair to them, when they lost to Liverpool and when they drew with Brighton, I thought that's a bit better, but it's too little too late. I don't think either of them deserve a win from me, so let's go 1-1.
Oh, go on, I'll spice it up. I'll give Southampton the win. Just because I have seen a little bit more from them. Every time I think they're going to get something from the game, it tends to be later on, they bottle it somehow. But I don't think they're going to do that against Leicester, because I don't think Leicester are clinical enough to actually do that to them. 2-1 Southampton.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
I backed them last week against Fulham and then they blooming lost.
Yeah, they went 1-0 up, that was what I mean. And then you think, oh, okay, they're going to get something. And then it's like, oh, just a draw. Oh, not even a draw. So I don't think that's going to happen against Leicester, though.
As I say, we will welcome both Leicester and Southampton with welcoming arms back to the Championship, and like I say, if it's any consolation, we expect you to do very well next season. Everyone else, do share your thoughts on the El Crapico. Next up, Sophie, we go to the Emirates as Arsenal take on Bournemouth. We've just seen Arsenal, Sophie, lose the first leg of the Champions League semi-final to PSG. Not great from where Arsenal are concerned, but a mention to PSG, they are slaying all the English teams.
Yeah, and I will say as well, because obviously we're unbiased, I thought that ref was very in favour of PSG. But ultimately, PSG were slightly the better team on the night. I thought Donnarumma had a great game, but that shows that they were trying to take a few chances. You think Martinelli had to score, really. But they just played very, very well. So this is an easier game, though. They're not playing PSG now.
Yeah. They take on Bournemouth, Sophie. Bournemouth with the 1-1 draw against Manchester United last time. You were a bit frustrated with that one because you backed Bournemouth to win 1-0, and they were until the last minute. Of course, there was a red card, and I think I've seen that Bournemouth have appealed that now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the result of that at the time of recording this, but 1-0 Arsenal. I don't think there's much in this. I think Arsenal's focus is definitely on next week and trying to put in the performance of their lives away at PSG, but they could do with something here, really. So 1-0. Yeah,
I'm going to give Arsenal the win as well. I'm going to say 2-0. Will be interesting to see if Evan Nilsson will be back for Bournemouth, as he would be a big miss, to be honest. But right now, as it stands, we've not heard anything. So going off of that, I'm going to say 2-0 Arsenal. I know they've got some other good players as well, and I do like Bournemouth. They did let me down by conceding late on, but it happens. I just think Arsenal are going to take more of their chances in this game, so 2-0.
2-0, yeah, both back in the Gunners. Do share your thoughts down below. Do feel free to let us know if you think Arsenal can pull it off. It's going to be difficult for them to beat PSG now.
No way, yeah.
I don't know, the pressure's on. Next up, Sophie, we go to West London. Brentford take on Manchester United. Brentford, as I've already touched on, didn't play at the weekend. They're now playing twice, so we've both predicted their game against Nottingham Forest. I didn't back them to win that, but I think they'll win this one. I think at home to Man United, they'll find a way. Man United, Sophie, in the middle of the week, obviously on the Thursday, the day of recording this, flying out to Bilbao and back. So it's got to take it out of them, surely. And as I've said before, I'll keep banging that drum. The Europa League means more to Manchester United at the minute because they've got a chance of winning it and getting into the Champions League. Brentford 2, Man United 1.
3-0 Brentford. That's not even being that harsh either. That's purely because I think that Amorim is going to rotate quite a lot. As you've mentioned, they're playing on the Thursday night. He's already said that Europa League's take precedent over the Premier League. So I think he's going to rest some of his key players and have a few kids out. And I think Brentford are just going to easily dispatch them, to be honest. 3-0. 3-0,
there you go. Share your thoughts, Brentford fans. I bet you're loving that. As for Man United fans, as I say, wouldn't be entirely surprised if you can get to the Europa League final, but in the Premier League, it's so hard to predict them to win, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think even their fans would say that as well. They're not enjoyable to watch in the Premier League, but in the Europa, they're very entertaining to watch.
Absolutely. Next up, Sophie, we go to the Amex as Brighton take on Newcastle United, both sides with home wins last week. Brighton beating West Ham 3-2, Newcastle United beating Ipswich 3-0 and relegating them. I quite enjoy this matchup. I just think the journey is so long whenever Brighton have to go to Newcastle or Newcastle have to go to Brighton. These can be really interesting games. You've got two good teams that want to play good football. What are you thinking? I mean, Newcastle United have got to keep some momentum going to wrap up that Champions League place.
I think there's going to be goals in this one. I think it could be quite an open game. We've seen that both teams are pretty strong going forwards, but occasionally do leak a few, especially Brighton. So I think there could be goals in this.
I think you're right. I'm going to go both teams to score. I think I'm just going to edge Newcastle.
Yeah, same.
Brighton 1, Newcastle 2.
Okay, I'm throwing in another goal. I'm going Newcastle 3-1. As I've said, I think there could be a few goals, but I am leaning towards the home side, so 3-1.
Yeah, I just think there's so much to like about Newcastle's front players. Like, they've just got so much attacking quality. It's unbelievable. Do share your thoughts down below. The next game, Sophie, is between West Ham and Tottenham. The battle for 16th place. Sophie, West Ham 3-2 defeat to Brighton last time. Booed off the pitch right at the end. Graham Potter's not really getting any momentum going their way. But Tottenham, Sophie, I mean, as I say, they could win the Europa League, but they could completely flatline and finish 17th in the Premier League. Feels like a decent opportunity for both to win. I just think with West Ham having one less distraction than Tottenham, I might actually back them, and they've got the home advantage.
Yeah.
2-0 West Ham.
I mean, you were saying about the El Clasico earlier, and you almost look at these two teams and you think this is another one, to be honest. The way they're playing at the moment.
This is pretty rubbish, yeah.
A lot of people were saying, Liverpool were literally celebrating before the game, like, how arrogant. And then they played it 5-1, as you predicted. And you just think, well, they just obviously knew we're going to beat Spurs. And they just took the mick by the end. So, I don't think West Ham have that in their locker. I think they're going to get the win. I'm going to say 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah, I'm edging the Hammers. They've been pretty disappointing this season as well. But yeah, 2 underwhelming teams going at it.
Yeah, it's not really like... I suppose when you look at the fact that these 2 are London clubs, there's a little bit of a rivalry. You should think, I'm excited for this one. I don't know.
Big clubs as well, they're massive clubs.
Of course they are, yeah.
I think, this is a really big game, but as I said, they're underperforming.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts down below on the Alan Sugar and Karen Brady derby. There's one for you. Let's move on to the next one, Sophie. It's Chelsea versus Liverpool. Sophie, Liverpool have won the Premier League. Let's give them a big congratulations. They have been so clearly the best team in the division this year, and I'm so happy with them that they won 5-1 last week. I expect they're going to win this one. Chelsea, of course, are playing for Champions League football, but Chelsea are a bit patchy.
They are. Yeah, that's exactly the word.
And, of course, they will have played in the Conference League before this. I expect Chelsea to win the Conference League, by the way.
They should, yeah.
They've just been dispatching everyone. They're too good for that competition. Yeah. Let's have some goals. Chelsea 1, Liverpool 3.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how seriously Liverpool's going to take this game, to be honest, because they've won the league now. So you're thinking, are they trying to just get as many points as possible, or are they just going to enjoy the last few games? I don't know. Obviously, Chelsea have a lot to play for here. Chelsea at home, yeah?
Chelsea at home, yeah.
Half tempted to say a draw, 2-2. Yeah, I'll go for a draw purely because Liverpool have done it. I think they might just take it a little bit easy now. Depends, to be honest, on how seriously they're going to take it. They might rest a few players. They might actually start Chiesa so he can get a medal, or they might bring him on. But I just feel like Chelsea, they need to get something. So, yeah, 2-2.
2-2. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because with Liverpool, what you could argue is now that they've won the league, they're not going to play that well. They don't need to.
Or pressure's off.
Pressure's off.
Yeah. Do really well.
If you flip it, you could say they're going to do really well now. They've got nothing to lose. Just go out and kind of play whatever you want. Maybe do some experimenting. Play some different styles of football with all these other games. Share your thoughts down below. As I say, congratulations Liverpool again on winning the league. The final game, Sophie, is on Monday night, and it's Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. Sophie, the Palace fans were feeling glad all over on the Saturday last week because they were so good against Aston Villa in the FA Cup, and they are into the FA Cup final.
I hope they win it. Genuinely, I hope they win it.
This is, I think, the 3rd time, or is it the 4th time? I think it's the 3rd time Palace have been in the FA Cup final. They've never won it. It's a big ask to beat Man City, but if they play like they can, maybe.
If they play like they did against Villa, I genuinely think they could beat Man City.
Yeah, I do. I think Eze and Sarr and
there's so much more pressure in the final against Man City as well. I don't know, tough one.
Obviously, Man City beat Nottingham Forest. That's who Palace are playing here.
Yeah.
I've just backed Forest to beat Brentford at home. I think that is more winnable than this one. I don't know about this one if I'm a Forest fan. I think this is a difficult game. It's a little bit of a bogey team. I think Palace and Forest tend to draw a lot of the time, but I'm going to... I think, if I'm right, it was 1-0 to Forest earlier this season. Okay. I'm going to go 1-0 to Palace on this occasion. Yes, that's right. I'm not backing Forest.
Yeah, that's a big thing for you.
I think Forest win the home game against Brentford. They'll lose the away game to Palace. I think Palace are going to want to try and keep some positivity and momentum going all the way to the FA Cup final.
Yeah, I might go for another draw, to be honest. I'm half tempted to say a Palace win, but because I fancy Forest to finish in the Champions League place, I've got to give them something. I just think it's going to be a very, very difficult game. Palace, on their day, as I said, they're a very, very good team. I love their attacking players, but Forest needs something as well, so I think they're going to really battle it out. Ends a 1-1 for me.
It ends 1-1, yeah. Do share your thoughts down below. Sophie, just before we wrap this up, out of these 5, pick which 3 are going to finish in the Champions League. Man City, Forest, Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea.
I'm going to say Man City for definite. Possibly Forest and Newcastle.
I think that's the 5. Yeah, the 3 I'd have in the top 5.
Well. Yeah, I think Chelsea just fall short. and Villa.
It's going to be close. Let us know your thoughts down below, guys. We are still here predicting the Premier League for the final few weeks. Your support would be much appreciated, so do drop a like and make sure you are subscribed. A massive, massive thank you for all of your support this season. Keep it coming. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers. Go on, hit that button. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you all next time. Take care. Peace out.